The differences between Brazilian Portuguese and European Portuguese are a lot greater than American English and British English, to the point that many native speakers can actually struggle to understand each other. In this video, we'll explore these differences so that you can make sure you're investing your time learning the right Portuguese for your needs. Biggest differences, number one, pronunciation. One of the most noticeable differences between Brazilian and European Portuguese is pronunciation. Some people even say that European Portuguese sounds like Russian,
Tenho certeza que vai fazer tudo para não correr riscos.
while Brazilian Portuguese sounds more like Spanish.
Tá chegando a grande hora de começar o experimento.
But let's be a bit more specific. Let's start with vowel sounds. In Brazilian Portuguese, vowels are a lot more open and pronounced fully, even in unstressed positions. For example, with the verb to speak, which is falar, it's pronounced a lot more open, falar. You can actually hear both vowels, both A's. Now, for European Portuguese, however, many unstressed vowels are reduced or even dropped, making words sound a lot more closed or muffled. So falar in European Portuguese sounds more like falar. So you can't really hear the first A. Sibilants. In Brazilian Portuguese, the letter S at the end of a word often sounds like S, as in mais.
Com a massa ainda mais leve, mais fofinha.
But in European Portuguese, the S sound is softer and often pronounced like sh, similar to the English SH sound. So mais becomes mais.
Havia mais surfistas vestidos na areia do que na água.
R sounds. In Brazilian Portuguese, the R sound varies greatly by region. So in some areas, it's a guttural sound similar to the French R. So for instance, the word door is porta. While in some areas, it's a softer tap, like the Spanish R. So porta becomes porta.
Porta que range devagarinho.
Now in European Portuguese, the R is generally a strong trill or uvular sound, especially at the beginning of words, and even in the middle. So for example, car is carro.
Os carros aqui vão estar sempre muito bem cuidados.
Phonetics and letter changes. In Brazil, certain letters at the ends of words are often pronounced differently than they are written, while in Portugal, pronunciation tends to follow spelling a lot more closely. For example, in European Portuguese, words like gato and queijo are pronounced exactly as written.
E aí eu descobri que o gato que eu mais gostei era o gato que estava lá. Eu falei, não.
In Brazilian Portuguese, the final O often sounds like a U, so gato becomes gato instead of gato, and queijo becomes queijo instead of queijo.
O gato Chester vai nos ajudar.
Another big change is the L sound in Brazilian Portuguese. In Brazilian Portuguese, L at the end of words often turns into a U sound. So papel becomes papel.
Barquinho de papel.
So jornal becomes jornal.
E esse jornal aparece no dia do nascimento.
Portugal becomes Portugal.
Assim, as origens da família vindo de Portugal.
European Portuguese also has a lot of vowel reduction, which means words are often pushed together with fewer vowel sounds.
Vocês passaram à frente.
In contrast, Brazilian Portuguese vowels are more distinct, making it easier to guess how words are spelled.
Mãe, a gente vai se atrasar, hein? Tô falando.
This is actually one of the reasons why some people think European Portuguese sounds more like Russian, while Brazilian Portuguese sounds more like Spanish. Vocabulary and grammar. Let's start with verbs and conjugation. One of the biggest differences between the two is formality and verb conjugation. So European Portuguese often uses the tu and vós, while in Brazilian Portuguese they use você and nós, which is the informal versions of you and we. And another key difference is the use of gerunds. In Portugal, they hardly use gerunds, while in Brazil, we use it almost exclusively, especially in the present continuous tense. For example, in European Portuguese, which is more formal, you would ask, o que estás a fazer? What are you doing? While in Brazilian Portuguese, you would ask, o que você está fazendo? Which is a lot more informal. Now, verb ter versus haver. Another major difference is in how the two variants use ter, to have, and haver, to exist or there is. In Brazilian Portuguese, we use ter much more frequently. For instance, tem muita gente aqui. There are many people here. Now, European Portuguese prefers haver for existential statements. For instance, há muita gente aqui. There are many people here. This is just another point as to how European Portuguese is much more formal than Brazilian Portuguese. Usage and context. One important thing to note is that Brazilian Portuguese dominates global media. Thanks to Brazil's large population and strong entertainment industry, Brazilian Portuguese is the most widely used form of Portuguese in TV, movies, music, and international business. So if your goal is to communicate with the largest number of Portuguese speakers, Brazilian Portuguese will definitely be your best choice. Also, almost all major Hollywood media like movies and TV shows are exclusively dubbed in Brazilian Portuguese, and they're pretty amazing. So this just gives you so much more options to learn Portuguese with authentic media. And to make it even easier, you can actually watch real-world videos in Portuguese on FluentU. On FluentU, we have tons of videos ranging from music videos, TV and movie clips, and TED Talks, all picked by language experts, with difficulty levels so you can learn in a logical order. You can choose between learning with them or with any video that has subtitles on YouTube and Netflix with FluentU's Chrome extension, which transforms the subtitles and makes them interactive just like on the FluentU platform. With FluentU's interactive subtitles, you can check meanings on the go, get helpful images, example sentences, and extra video examples to see how natives use your target vocab across contexts. After watching, you can actually take personalized quizzes to make sure you practice everything you learn. And you'll learn with spaced repetition, which is amazing, and will really help you retain knowledge. If you want to start learning Brazilian Portuguese that natives actually use, you can get a free trial of FluentU by clicking the link in the description below. By the way, which Brazilian Netflix show would you like to learn Portuguese with? Comment below for a chance of winning 1 year of FluentU for free. Pronouns and grammar. Pronouns also differ between the two types of Portuguese. Brazilian Portuguese uses você as a default second-person pronoun.
É você mesmo?
While European Portuguese uses tu much more frequently. Accent differences. Even accents in writing can be different. In Brazilian Portuguese, words like bebê, baby, and bonus, bonus, use the circunflexo accent. Now in European Portuguese, they use the agudo accent instead. Culture and formality. So because European Portuguese is more formal, it often follows stricter rules of politeness. So in Brazilian Portuguese, in Brazil, it's normal to use first-person names in professional settings, even with people that are higher up in the ranks, like your boss, for instance.
Carola, ela podia ter morrido.
But with European Portuguese and in Portugal, it's more common to use formal titles like senhor, senhora, and doutor, doutora.
Boa noite, senhora engenheiro.
Now, even greetings can be different. In Brazilian Portuguese, you would say, oi, tudo bem? Hey, how are you? Now in European Portuguese, you would say, olá, como está? Hello, how are you? Now here's the question. Can you learn both? Who am I to tell you that you cannot learn both? While not impossible, it's not recommended. Pick one to focus on as a base, and then when you're more advanced, you can pick up some slang, vocab, and expressions of the other one that will help you get by. So which one should you learn? Okay, so I might be a little biased, but Brazilian Portuguese is the best choice if you want to communicate with the most amount of people globally, and also have a vast source of resources to learn from. However, if you plan to live in Portugal, obviously learning European Portuguese would be your best bet. So if you want to start now and learn some Portuguese right away, check out this video here where we break down a hilarious scene from Friends.